Alrighty. Hello, everybody. I'm Renita Vermeulen from Fox Sports, and I'm so excited to chat with Australia's only Moto2 rider in his rookie year, Senna Agius. Senna, thank you so much for chatting with me. How's your summer break? Where are you currently?
No, thanks, Renita. I'm super happy to be here. It's always nice to speak about what I'm doing over here with guys back home. So no, interested in it. So no, I'm in Germany at the moment. As you can see, there's a couple bikes in the background at the team factory slash showroom. So our team is a very high up battery company to import and export all different kinds of batteries. So yeah, it's like a 50% workshop, and then on the other side of the building is the factory business. So doing a little bit of a tour the last couple of days. So cool to see how many like people are behind a successful business that can obviously have a race team like this. So it's super nice to come to see everyone and vice versa. So no, it's nice to travel a little bit on my summer break. You know, where we live is quite small, and I've been there a couple of years now. So I normally love just spending time by myself, obviously in the mountains. But when I have the opportunity to come to Germany, I for sure take it. So no, it's interesting.
Are you doing any off-season training or preparations while you are at the factory?
Yeah, so I just come from Donington Park. I went to my manager works there, and a couple other people from our team are also there. So I went to Donington to watch the Superbikes. So obviously training on the road, but also just getting out a little bit this year. So yeah, I was in England last week doing some watching for the first time, and I can't remember not being able to race on a Sunday. But honestly, it's quite nice. And yeah, over here for some testing at the moment, just some wind tunnel work. We have a little bit of things to improve on that aspect. So we couldn't go before the season, which is a normal procedure. So it was this little period for me to come do it. So yeah, I thought I'd come here, get that out of the way yesterday, and yeah, just relax a bit.
So, with the relaxing summer break, enjoying that time off, I'm guessing you've had a bit of time to reflect on your season so far. And I wanted to know, how do you feel about your first rookie season in MotoGP so far?
I'm satisfied recently. I didn't haven't crossed the line in what we could have. In Assen, I went to do an overtake for seventh in the chicane and come out worse for wear when we all went three breaths through the change of direction and got pushed onto the green on the last lap battle, and obviously you get demoted the position. So yeah, just missed out a top 10 in Assen, and then I think the story is quite clear what happened in Germany. Yeah, just this is what it is. It's I had an option to change the rear tire on the grid. Honestly, it was about 6 or 7 minutes to go, and we got informed that a couple of people around me on the grid, well, especially the front row and a few on the second row, have all switched tires in the last minutes, and I'm already in a stressful situation as it is being in P4. And we made the group decision is to not to change to the harder rear tire. And yeah, as you can see, I made it all the race until we had some pretty catastrophic problems suddenly on with 4 laps to go, which left me just like being out there in the wet pretty much. I just lost like 6 or 7 seconds in 3 laps, which is just absurd, but it is what it is. It was heartbreaking, but I'm not looking too much onto Sunday. I'm quite happy with my improvements of especially mental clarity after like, okay, it's rookie season, so you can have up and downs. So having a more tough Friday, not being where you want and not throwing the toys out the pram and thinking I'm way off. So I've been chipping away, keeping calm even after slow starts on Friday, which the last two races I've made a massive step. It's not like I've been in the top five on Fridays, so I can improve on Saturday and then know that the work I did, even though it's a little bit less clear of how positive it was on Friday, always shows for me on Sundays. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how we're improving in that aspect. But yeah, for me, it's honestly the work process and what we're doing has been the same since Qatar. So to have a few tough races, we've kept it the same. We haven't been stressing, and then so to start getting some results on the board feels like we've actually haven't changed anything, even when we were more struggling at the beginning of the year, which is nice. It's not like I had to do anything drastic to or like change anything or run into massive problems to veer off our work process, and then we start achieving results. It's just like, okay, if it's keep working, and then boom, it starts to come. So this is definitely satisfying. So yeah, we're leading the Rookie of the Year championship. We've come back to, I think we're 14th in the championship now. Yeah, so let's say halfway mark has been quite successful, and obviously my goals will progress in the second half when we come back to the Asia races, where I think honestly is a little bit more fair game in the overseas. Everyone has less experience on the overseas tracks. So, but I'm also confident in the mid-season now. We got a lot of tracks in Europe. So being based in Europe for the last 4 years, some of the European tracks actually feel like more home tracks than the ones in the south or the north of Europe, in Germany and things like this is a bit more difficult. So no, let's see, I'm excited.
That's so interesting hearing that those tracks in Europe feel a lot more comfy for you. And I guess I wanted to ask, did you find that all those years that you did the European Moto2 Championship, did that help you a lot transitioning into the World Moto2 Championship?
Yeah, it does help you get the normal vibe of the bike and how you need to achieve. But this year, there's so many tech specs different, with the tires, the suspension, and honestly, even just jumping ship last year from European Championship to World Championship, even back on the same tires and spec and everything, changes so much on the bike that I don't think people understand. And it's hard to actually tell them that, okay, a couple things with the electronics and tire allocation changes a lot, but you give someone a reduced schedule, a different model of tire, and a couple engine characteristic difference, and then a load of little things become one massive change. So it 100% helps. The only thing you lack a little bit is Grand Prix intensity. I think the kids that step up from Moto3 already have that Grand Prix attitude, so they just have to learn a new bike. They know the tracks, they know the schedule, and they know the intensity of the practices and how quick you need to get up to speed if you want to have any fair chance of being competitive on Saturday. You can't really lose your first day and try and play catch up like it's possible. Like I just said just before, that if you have a tougher starting point, then you can still obviously arrive with the right work by Sunday. But definitely, this is something that I feel like I lacked at the beginning of the season a little bit more, that fire on the first practice sessions, where the other rookies seem to have a bit more of that. But I did have an advantage on understanding the chassis and things like this. So I'd say it's hand in hand, but for sure it's helped. And also riding last year's bike on, like I just said, the European tracks in Europe, European Championship. This is why I feel a little bit more comfy out the bat. So I'd say for sure.
Yeah, okay. I'm wondering then, your rookie year, same team, but jumping over to the new championship, what were the goals that you set for yourself this year, and have you achieved them so far?
Um, I have a lot of goals personally. I'm not the type of one that's like I'm vocal with it inside my group and inside my people 100%. I think if you believe in something, then you need to either manifest it or speak it into reality. So I'm very, in that sense, I have massive goals, but then like say publicly and what I'm spreading into the team and media and trying to create around me has been the complete opposite. So I think that works hand in hand. I think obviously as like a team owner perspective, they had no expectations on me. I think we agreed that we're obviously just going to start because it's a bit of unknown this year with the bike and everything, and how I think you can see it's quite clear this year that championship contenders last year didn't transition into championship contenders this year. So it's a lot of change. So we said, okay, we start at point A where we were in the test, and then each race we're adjusting our goals. Before it was, okay, we need to try and go through Q2 on Fridays, and then and then the first couple races I'm always in Q1. And then I'm going to Q2. So then, okay, so the first goal is to get to Q2. Okay, cool. That's Q2. And then we're trying to get points. And then now we're on the top 10 and now we're on the top 5. Like, I'm not saying that trend's always going to go forward, but I think that the team, I'm very thankful that they're with me, doing the elastic band. So every time we improve and we set small goals and we go out and chase it. So it's not just as as straightforward as, okay, we're going to try and win a race and let's just wait until it happens. I think it's quite cool to have small goals and hit them all the time. So yeah, I obviously want to achieve great things this season, and if I can, I'd love to get a podium in the second half of the year, especially in the overseas tracks, which is it's not out of the question. But it's world championships, motorcycle racing, anything can trends go up and down. It's super easy to have a bad weekend and not know why. So yeah, I'm happy with our progress, and I think yeah the common goal is quite clear, which is super nice, and the team's got a massive amount of motivation and confidence in me, and I'm obviously gaining confidence as the rounds go on and the results are getting better. So no, I'm hopeful for the second half of the year.
What do you think it's going to take for you to get that podium this year?
Good question. Um, I don't know. One thing that I have felt that recently is like I'm at the halfway point now, and I'm like I wouldn't say I didn't 100% believe in myself at the beginning. You obviously know you deserve to be there, all the work you've done and sacrifice from family and everyone like that. So you obviously feel, and you don't get the opportunity if you don't earn it. Like I'm not going to be on the grid if I didn't deserve to be there. So it's not I'm not saying that, but it's more just once it's you have found yourself battling there and you do feel like a front runner. Like my race in Germany, I was in the front group with ease, being able to pass for podium positions, and I'm like, you take something from that. Okay, it's not the outcome we wanted, but it just shows that if you keep your head down, that you can do it. So I definitely have a little bit more confidence in myself for sure at the second half of the year. So I think a mixture of that, and honestly, is maybe as silly as it sounds, you need luck. Honestly, you need things to go in your way. This year, I've been kicked out of a transfer from FP3 to Q2 by like the last digit of the 10th twice or three times this season. So a tiny element of luck involved is obviously never goes astray. And I think we just need a smooth weekend. One thing I'm happy about recently is my Sunday pace has been a bit more of a positive than my one lap, but obviously it's one lap's important on Saturday. So we improved that in the last weekend as well, being fourth on the grid. So I think we just need a smooth weekend and yeah, it can happen.
It's so obviously you're talking about the pace there, and as fans, and when I'm watching you, I can see that as well. I can see that you're consistently quick now. Obviously, you're qualifying up closer to the front of the grid. But I want to also ask you a little bit about the team dynamic, because growing up in a racing household, I know that the first person that you're wanting to beat is your teammate. And
Mm.
like there is results, sorry, have shown this year like what you can achieve. Now, your
Yeah.
teammate is Darren Binder, and he's been in the championship for some time now. But with
Yeah.
that dynamic between the two of you, what is it like in the garage? Do you get to share data a lot, or do you tend to find that you keep everything to yourself and there's a little bit of separation?
Me and Darren are pretty close away from the track. We were close even last year when I was in European Championship and he was in Moto2 already. We live in the same country. We live in the same town in Andorra. Yeah, we see each other quite a lot. So I think we were both excited when we found out that we would be on the same team at the same time. So that was cool. So I think with the team knowing that, it actually had a relaxed vibe from either sides of the crew. Like I think the crew are always like me and Darren stepping in are not going to change, no matter the terms me and Darren are on, are not going to change the two sides of the crew's relationship already. But once they saw how close we are, then obviously the crew just gets a little bit more comfort from that. We're completely open. Like the Darren had a really strong weekend up until Sunday in Italy. He was in the top five all weekend, and I had the complete opposite weekend. So obviously weekends like that, for sure you learn everything you can, and I can look at anything, ask for anything, and honestly, not just on a technical level. We're in the truck all day together, so I just quiz him, and he can we help each other. Like as you can see from the TV, we're often on track together in qualifying and things like this. So no, we're super open. We're good friends. But in saying that, it's quite funny to see how laid back we are with each other and how helpful we are to each other. But as soon as the helmet goes on, there's zero mercy. We haven't actually like had a good race to get actually a lie in Portugal. We did, but it all goes out the window. Like I'm happy to help and everything on track, but it obviously no one's your friend once the visor goes down. So, and if you're not like that, then I don't think you're gonna get anywhere. So, yeah, that's solid. It's actually quite cool. He has so much Grand Prix experience, and I would say a little bit like I'm more emotional than him. It's my first year, so I'm like, okay, I'm doing well and I'm doing bad, and then like he can see me, and he's just the opposite. He can be that linear line of like when it's coming, when it's not, how to just keep that level head. And I think that only comes with the time he spent in the paddock, which is nice to learn off and take attributes like that. But I wouldn't have asked for a better teammate in the pits, and especially in a technical aspect. So no, I'm happy with the vibe this year.
I love that you said just before when the visor comes down, it's all about competition. And that made me think when the visor comes down and you're in Moto 2 in the World Championship, did you have to become a different Senna Agius than what you did when you're in the European Championship? I guess what I'm asking is, did you have to become more aggressive? Is the level of competitiveness higher? Did you change your riding style, things like that?
So in my wild cards in 22 and 23, I often felt when I'd step in and then I'd be like on track with them and they'd rough me up and I'd have an opportunity to pass or race them, I'd find myself a little bit more timid. Like I watch these guys on TV all the time and I admire to be like them. And then when you're there, I felt myself weirdly enough not going that extra, like not fighting for my track position in qualifying, not being as aggressive as I should be in the races, being a little bit more tense, but not just from a nerve point, just because I'm in MotoGP. It was just something a little bit strange. But this year, honestly, everyone just looks like a dot. I don't, if it's Darren, if it's Vietti, if it's Jixon, I just found myself like I'm aggressive this year. I can quite easily make people angry and things like this, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm just yeah, I just found you gain confidence from it, but it's not like you trying to gain respect, but it's you just like last year I felt like I could get dished and they wouldn't get a reaction, where this year they definitely know it's coming. So it's nice. It shows you're more competitive and willing to go to the death to try and achieve what you want. So I think you need to be like that. Otherwise, honestly, it's like you need to eat or you get eaten in Grand Prix racing. So there's only a small window where that slides and then it starts to affect you big. So I think you need to hold your ground and believe in yourself.
Oh, definitely. And we can
Mm.
see that in well, I mean, I can see that in how you've been progressing this year. Like you said, Germany, you qualified P4, best qualifying the whole race, or majority of the race, you were up the front battling for the podium. So you're so close to being there. It's just that final step that you have to take.
Mm.
But hoping that the remainder of this season, especially coming from the European circuits to the fly away rounds, which most of those tracks I would think that you've competed on when you did the Asia Talent Cup all
Yeah.
those years ago. What are your expectations going into the remainder of the season and especially the flyaway rounds?
Obviously, I want to win the Rookie of the Year this year. So I think that means scoring consistent points, top tens and so forth. But I found in Qatar this year, like you just said, from 2018 Asia Talent Cup, I had to really learn that this year. Like I didn't, Qatar's was such a big track. Sepang's a massive track. So I think smaller ones like Thailand, I'll have a little bit more vibe around, but it's honestly nothing like even the other rookies racing there previously on Moto 3. It's racing only 12 months ago. I feel like I would benefit from that much more than me being there 6 years ago on a 17-inch small bike. So yeah, it's nice to already have say been in the country and understand maybe where the layout goes. But honestly, I had to relearn Qatar this year, so I don't think it'll be any different for Sepang, Thailand, and things like this. So no, obviously I'll feel a little bit more grounded and know where I'm going around Australia and say Valencia at the end of the year. But there's going to be a learning aspect of Fridays coming. Yeah, England next weekend. I've never been before, so that's going to be a completely new track. So I need to keep scoring points, defend the Rookie of the Year, and yeah, hopefully chase that podium that we want. But if not, I think it's just to definitely be in the start getting some solid top tens and fighting there every weekend and learning our level and just instead of feeling like riding the wave a little bit, I think honestly achieve that stability with the bike and performance in myself, how we can try and have one weekend and take that exact same base and hit the ground running on the next weekend. And that comes when you understand how to ride it properly and your especially your crew chief and technical stability. We just find that baseline. So I think at the moment, I'm not saying it's just me, but we're definitely trying to find that base level a little bit better. But we're improving. I'm here, obviously testing and things like this. So we're continuously learning. So I think that all just boils down to experience. We're 9 races in, so I'm not saying it's slow rolling, but we just need to find that stability a little bit more, which is coming. It's nice to see the trend of results coming. So now let's just try and keep that going, and the quicker we find that, the better the results will be. So
Are there any of the future ones you mentioned? You haven't been to Qatar in 6 years and Sepang and obviously Phillip Island, which we'll get to shortly. But are there any of the rounds coming up, particularly that you're trying to focus on because that style of circuit tends to suit you, or something that a weakness that you're still trying to get through?
I think anti-clockwise tracks spark an interest in me. Like I didn't even pick up on it, but I'm like, I love that track. Oh, this track's a little bit difficult. And then I start picking up that it's anti-clockwise tracks that I find I have zero problem with. But in saying that, I can obviously go right as well. I just comes down to dirt track. I race dirt track from whenever I can remember. So very excited for things like Valencia, obviously Australia, Aragon, things like this where I've had good success. But my favorite track is clockwise, for example. So it's not like it's saying that okay, the track's clockwise, I'm not going to do good because 60% of the racetracks in the world are clockwise, and I've got no problem. So no, like you said, it just is going to vary from a little bit of new track to ones I know. But it's honestly just it helps knowing the track, as silly as it sounds, of just where to put your bike on your outlap. That makes such a difference. Like if you can know your break points and everything and apexes and speeds, that just like doesn't matter if okay, like a new track, you're maybe going to be a little bit faster on your first run, but that first contact of the track changes your vibe. Like, okay, you need to be headstrong in any case when things are not working, of how to stay on it, stay on it. So obviously you're learning, and even though it's not coming, you need to keep grounded so you can have the best feedback to get yourself out of the situation, improve. But honestly, it just feels so much nicer knowing all your things. But I do the most away from racing studying as I can, obviously sessions and onboards and speeds and data and stuff like that. So it's continuously working at home to try and have the best foot forward. But I think it's just going to be experience on tracks. But like I just mentioned before, having that base performance, you'll find that the better you feel with your crew and how you're feeling with the bike, you can take your base to a new track and get up to speed as quick as possible, and you're well underway. So I don't think it's going to change too much. Every weekend excites me. I'm not writing ones off before I've even get there. That's completely the opposite of what you want to do. So for me, every race is an opportunity, and wherever you cross the line on Sunday, it is what it is. I've learned that this year it's not a lack of care by any means, but if you have a bad result and you cannot like in the past, if I had a bad result, I felt like I naturally took the vibe from a bad result and portrayed it in my character for other people to see how much I care, and I'm so upset about my performance because I believe I want to do better, and especially all of us who are more or less on like say 1 year deals and things like this, you like want to show that this is not acceptable. But does that on drag of emotion and anger really matter? The only thing that matters is the next time you hop on that bike, what you change to be in a different perspective. And for me, nowadays, it does not change. Like if I have a bad result, I analyze and uh, I show the negatives of what I feel is wrong with our base, and whether it's what I feel I'm struggling in my riding, what I feel like I want to do, but the bike won't let me. Really be very in depth and quite harsh on that aspect, but then drop it. You need to it's all about how your next contact to be to change your situation. Then if you have another one, then it restarts again. It's like the next one, or you find yourself, you've made that massive step and you're out of your hole, and then everyone's happy again. So you just need to be honestly quite boring character. You need to be a plank of wood because you need to just sit there and remain the same, whether you need to keep grounded. If you run into success, you can't go, yeah, everything job done. I'm arrived. Like after Germany, I've had obviously a lot more media and things like this, and everyone's saying that I'm there, and I'm just like, yes, but there's a couple of tracks I've never been to. Am I going to be on the same level? I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to be, because I won't be a racer if I say that, but you just need to keep yourself grounded and calm to try and repeat it. So this is something that you learn with experience. So I've tried to take the first 9 races and quite analyze it a lot and what I need to do. But some things that I've just learned over the years, and I think I'll get even better at it as the years go on. So it's just interesting things you learn and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I think for the flyway races, you're coming back home to your
Mm,
first ever Australian Grand Prix, competing on the world stage as the
yeah.
only Australian rider in Moto2. What does that mean for you?
Oh, I'm excited. Like I'm in the process now of designing helmets and gloves and things like this. Just stupid little things to be fair. But yeah, I have a ridiculous amount of people coming to Phillip Island. So It's so funny because you wish you could handle and help everyone to get in and show them around, but there's going to be so many people that I don't know. It would just be nice to see everyone at some stage of the weekend as family and partners and family friends and so forth. So, yeah, I'm so excited, especially because I'm flying out of Japan straight away, so I'll have that chill week before going to the island. So for sure, you get back into the rhythm and see everyone before you get there. But I'm very excited to be there, and I'm just honestly visualizing a massive result there and what I would feel on that in lap. So no, let's see. I'm super excited. I've always wanted to ride a Grand Prix bike around that track. Like I've ridden a load of different things around there, super bikes and super sport bikes and everything like that. But I've always wondered what my race bike will be. Another anti-clockwise track, so keen to do some dirt tracking around Stoner Corner and things like this. But no, I'm excited. It definitely, you can see the green already.
Being your home track, does this give you an advantage that you feel? You've obviously done a lot of laps there in the past on
Mm.
multiple different bikes, but first time on your bike, do you think you're going to have an
Mm.
advantage over the rest of the field? Yeah, come
Like
on.
yes and no. Like I have to say, like the amount of riding I've done there compared to say your Valencias, your Barcelonas, I've ridden the European tracks a lot more, to be honest. So yes, I think I'll have a mental advantage, let's say. Like I'm obviously just going to be incredibly motivated, incredibly. I actually it. I say this. I want to say I will be much more calmer now than the home GP pressure. I don't know, so I can't really say that just yet. But let's go with I have an advantage. I'm gonna have way too many people around me, so I definitely like having. It's not actually. I don't think it will be a pressure because I love having family and friends come to watch me race. I like watching them if they've never been before or they didn't know exactly what it was and they get excited. And I like having a bit more the Aussie culture support, let's say. So I'm super excited and it'll be a massive weekend for me and it'll be super fun. So I think definitely some home GP luck will not go astray. So yeah, let's see.
Well, Senna, we are so excited to watch you at Phillip Island as well in October. All of Australia is behind you and supporting you. We can't wait to see you on that podium. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. We wish you all the best for the remainder of the season.
No worries, guys. Thank you for the support, and I look forward to seeing you all guys down under. Yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in and watching me and supporting me this year. And just know that I'm doing everything I can to do Australia proud in the middleweight class. And yeah, I'm hopefully on the up. So let's see. And thanks all for watching.